Today we're going to be working on the Shakespeare in the Park quilt. It's a popular pattern by Judy Martin, and a lot of other quilters have also made this quilt. So I'm pulling this out of the box. It looks like the top might already be finished, but I remember that there's a problem in the corner. I thought that I had to make one more block to be able to finish this. So you can see here, this is a quilt that's made on point, and it's missing this corner. That would make it square. You can see it's missing this section here. So look here, this corner is what it's supposed to look like. It's nice and square. Okay, it looks like it's missing two corners so far. See, it doesn't have a square edge on this side. And this side does have a square so that it looks properly rectangular. It's missing two of the corner triangles, and it has two of the corner triangles. So let's see what else is in the box. It has a corner triangle and another corner triangle. So there's two corner triangles. But these don't look like the ones that are in the pattern. Here's what it looks like in the book, but it's by Judy Martin. If you look at the pattern, you can see that all four of the edges here look the same. They all have the two colors on the sides. And this one has a square on the side, so it's not made the same way. And you can also see that these are not right next to each other. They're set on point, and if you look at the pattern, these two are right next to each other. So I guess today we'll be ripping out some seams. Okay, so the timer has been set. I have the quilt top here, I have one of the corners, and I have the pattern and the seam ripper. My number one rule is think before you rip. I have allergy problems today, so what we're going to do is compare this to the quilt pattern. So it looks like this square needs to be taken out. These two need to be next to each other, so they need also to be taken out. Now you can see that there are corner triangles on both of these squares, so I can probably leave these corner triangles. So I can leave the star with the corner triangle and the star with the corner triangle, and see if maybe I can find a way to make these work the way they are. And then maybe I just need another corner triangle here. So if I but then I would only need two corner triangles and then one big triangle, one end triangle. I need two of these side triangles and one of the actual corner triangle. Let me compare that to one that's already been made just to make sure that the thinking is right here. Okay. So here I have the star and the snail's trail block, and here I have the two stars and the snail's trail block. So yeah, I think that makes sense that I just need to separate this out and separate these two pieces out. And the second block, I don't know why I kept remembering that I needed to make a block, but here it doesn't look like I need to make a block except for the corner. They both are in the same condition pretty much. I think what happened was these are blocks that are made for the quilt itself, and I just am repurposing them to be corner triangles, and I just repurposed them the wrong way. Okay, so let's get to ripping. Yep, you can see everything. Looks like a very messy background here. So I just need to rip this out here and this from here once I get done with that. There's a way that you can use this ball and put the seam ripper inside, but then you run the risk of possibly tearing the fabric, and I don't want to do that with blocks that have already been made. Looks like there were some other mistakes in here that I fixed, because there's two seams next to each other. Once I take some of the stitches out from one side, I should be able to pull the thread to get the rest of the seam done. Yep. Looks like my tripod is still moving around, wanting to get a better look. I did try to tighten it up, but it's not working. Have to be careful you don't jab, when you jab the fabric, you get it out, because you don't want to make holes in the fabric. Okay, we've got these pieces separated. Need to get the square. This one's going to be the wrong direction. Well, we'll see if we can find one in the other block. Oops, this way. Oh, this is wonderful. I'm not going to have to rip out the corner triangles because it looks like it's going to make a good end here. So I need to piece this very edge here and sew these together. Okay, I'll go ahead and sew these together because that's something I can quickly do without having to find the fabric and cutting it. So I'll just sew these two pieces together. Okay, so I need these two. And when I sew these together, I want to make sure that I'm catching the intersection here to make the points match correctly. So just like we did on the kaleidoscope blocks, we need to make sure that we're catching these little points. So I'm putting a pin at the intersection. A little bit hard because the fabric is pressed this direction. But I can see here that I have them in the points. And then this one's in the point. And this one's in the point. Make sure these are straight. And put the rest of the pin down. Usually I like to alternate the seams so that I can nest them. Both of these seams are going in the same direction. They're both pressed in the same direction, but I'm going to leave them that way because of the way they're sewn into the rest of the piece. You see how this is sewn this direction, and if I try to alternate seams, I'm going to wind up with having a crooked piece here. It'll make the quilt lumpy. Have the walking foot in the machine now. I started with a little leader just to make sure that the thread didn't bunch up on the quilt here. I'm going to go ahead and sew this even though my time is up because I want to have this done. This one, the seam isn't all the way. This is not going to give me a good point because a 1/4 inch is not in the right spot, but there's so many points in this one, I don't think it'll matter. Likewise here you can see it's not correct. Sacrifice the dot. Okay, 15 minutes is up. I have 2 triangles put together, and now all I have to do is put the end pieces, and this quilt will be making a lot of progress. This video is one of a series of videos where I'm showing you each of my projects one by one and working on them 15 minutes at a time. I hope you enjoy seeing all of the progress on all of my quilts and get some inspiration, get some advice. I hope that you join me and sew along with me. And if you do, just let me know in the comments below what you worked on, how much you got done in your 15 minutes, and I'll give you an entry in the drawing. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all of your support, and I'll see you again tomorrow.